Have you ever wondered how the Linux file system works in Docker? Now that's a question that could make a tech enthusiast's heart skip a beat. You see, Docker, a popular platform used by developers worldwide, and Linux, a well-loved operating system, share an intriguing relationship. Especially when we delve into the Linux file system within Docker, things get really interesting. This journey promises to be as fascinating as it is informative. So, are you ready to uncover some tech secrets? Stay tuned to discover the answer. Docker is a platform that simplifies software development, and the Linux file system is a structured hierarchy where all data is stored. That's our starting point today. Docker, in its essence, is a tool designed to make it easier for developers to create, deploy, and run applications. It does this by using containers, lightweight and standalone packages that contain everything needed to run an application, including libraries, system tools, code, and runtime. This encapsulation ensures that the application runs quickly and reliably from one computing environment to another. It's like having your personal workspace, no matter where you are or what device you're using. Docker acts as a bridge that connects your ideas to reality without the usual hassles of setup and compatibility issues. Now let's talk about the Linux file system. In the simplest of terms, it's the way Linux organizes and stores your data. This isn't just a random jumble of information, but a meticulously organized structure that ensures easy data access and management. The Linux file system is like a well-organized library where every book has a specific place, making it easy for you to locate what you need. This structure is integral to how your data is stored, accessed, and managed. So, why do Docker and the Linux file system matter together? They work in tandem to create a seamless environment for software development. Docker brings the ease of portability and consistency, while the Linux file system ensures data is organized and accessible. Now, let's dive deeper into how the Linux file system works within Docker. The Linux file system in Docker is a fascinating world where data organization takes center stage. A universe of its own, it provides a unique environment where every file and directory has a purpose and a place. Let's dive deep into it to untangle its intricacies. The Linux file system in Docker doesn't exist in isolation. It's deeply intertwined with Docker containers, which are the backbone of Docker's functionality. These containers are like individual computers with their own Linux file systems. They're lightweight, isolated environments where applications run securely, and their file systems are where the data for these applications is stored. Now let's take a closer look at how Docker containers use the Linux file system for data storage. When you create a Docker container, Docker creates a writable layer on top of the container's image. This layer is where all changes, such as file modifications, additions, and deletions, are stored. It's a living, breathing space that changes as the container is used. But how does Docker maintain the file system hierarchy within these containers? Well, Docker uses a union file system to manage the different layers of the file system, including the writable layer. The union file system allows Docker to keep these layers separate, yet make them appear as one cohesive file system to the user. It's like a well-orchestrated symphony where each instrument plays its part, but together, they create a harmonious melody. Moreover, Docker also uses volumes for persistent data storage. Volumes are the preferred mechanism for persisting data generated by and used by Docker containers. They are completely managed by Docker and can be shared and reused among containers. So, you see, the Linux file system in Docker is a meticulously organized system where each file, directory, and layer has a specific role to play. It's a complex dance of data storage, file hierarchy, and container functionality. Understanding this system is key to effectively using Docker. It opens up a world of possibilities for managing data in a Docker environment, and it's a critical skill for anyone working with Docker containers. Let's summarize the key points of how the Linux file system operates within Docker. First, it's important to remember that Docker containers and Linux file systems share a symbiotic relationship. Docker relies heavily on the Linux file system for its operations. By understanding this relationship, you can leverage Docker's capabilities to the fullest. Next, we have the layered architecture of Docker images. Each layer corresponds to a set of file changes or a set of instructions in a Docker file, with each new layer building upon the previous one. This design not only promotes reusability but also reduces the disk space usage, making Docker a lightweight solution. The concept of union file systems, or UnionFS, is another key point. UnionFS allows files and directories of separate file systems known as branches to be overlaid, forming a single coherent file system. This is what enables Docker's layered file systems and image sharing. We also discussed Docker volumes, which are the preferred mechanism for persisting data generated by and used by Docker containers. Docker volumes are completely managed by Docker and are stored in a part of the host file system which is managed by Docker. Docker volumes offer an easy way to backup, restore, or migrate data across different Docker hosts. The copy on write strategy, or COW, is another essential aspect. Docker uses this method to minimize the duplication of data. When a file in a container is modified, Docker only duplicates the modified parts, not the entire file, reducing the resources needed. Lastly, we touched on the importance of Dockerfile, a text document that contains all the commands a user could call on the command line to assemble a Docker image. Understanding Dockerfile helps you create tailored images that suit your needs. Remember, a good grasp of the Linux file system in Docker is a powerful tool in your software development kit. Your journey in the world of Docker is just beginning, and understanding these concepts will pave the way for a smoother ride. Keep exploring, keep learning, and you'll soon master the art of Docker. So, we've uncovered the mystery of the Linux file system in Docker. We've taken a deep dive into Docker and the Linux file system, understanding how they intertwine to create an efficient, flexible environment for your applications. From the basics to the key points, we've discovered how Docker utilizes the Linux file system to enhance application deployment and management. Remember, it's not just about understanding these concepts, but applying them. The more you know, the more you can optimize your Docker usage. And with this knowledge, you're well on your way to becoming a Docker power user. But don't stop here. There's always more to learn, more to explore. The world of Docker and Linux is vast and ever-evolving. So continue your journey, dive deeper, ask questions, experiment. The more you explore, the more you'll learn, and the more efficient your Docker use will become. Keep exploring, keep learning, and see how much more efficient your Docker use can be with a solid understanding of the Linux file system.